Hi, welcome back to the Daz and Pete Weekly Wrap-Up. I've got Pete in the studio today. Pete, welcome in what was a monster weekend of football.
Crazy weekend when you look at some of the results and what some of the predictions were and what all the armchair critics were looking at and all the rest of it.
Was I one of the critics when I called you Eddie Maguire of the North yesterday?
Mate, I'll tell you what you did do. You've cost me some more money for the boys' end of footy trip. That's end of season footy trip. That's for sure. I'm keeping that jar pretty full at the moment with media fines. So
Schultz said that you were taking him to Altona, and I said I reckon I can get you all to Tahiti. Leave it with me, and you might get there very quick. We have a monster show, so we're going to jump in here because the upsets were relentless this weekend, and it's just a huge week. Let's start in Division 1 and finish in the Eddie League. The Third Division League. I've got jokes all day, mate. Stay with me.
Mate. Looking forward to it.
But Division 1, Melbourne Greyhounds was an amazing week of football and plenty of upsets. This wasn't an upset, but what was surprising was the margin at the end. Eltham 13-12-90 took on West Preston 13-11-89. The thought process here was this would have been 10 goals. The week before, everyone thought West Preston weren't going to be much chop against Hurstbridge, and West Preston have proved not only are they not to be spoken about as a standalone relegation side, they're fair dinkum because Eltham were very good the week before against Greensborough. They've got some class players, including Christian Lawson, Arden Darby, Matty Harmon's best ruckman in the league, in my opinion, and then Alexander Diarra. They've got some serious stars. I know they didn't get the 4 points and they sit winless, but come on, seriously, they're sensational. That's amazing. And good on Eltham in a week that had some serious issues. Unfortunately, someone had passed away. We've already covered that, but it would have been a really important win for Eltham, wouldn't it, Pete?
Huge. When you leave, when you lose such a respected person connected to your football club, there's a huge emotional sort of attachment to that and so forth, which I'm sure that the club would have been aware of going into the game.
A lot of emotion.
Yeah. But look, Eltham got the points, and they'll be happy to do that and move on. It's a bit hard to get a read on them because they had a really strong 3 quarters against a Borough that was stacked Good Friday.
Amazing.
And then they've sort of struggled to put West away, who, as you said, many are sort of suggesting they're, going to be relegation. So
it's
really interesting.
It's a game that had a lot in it. At quarter time, West Preston were up by 8 points. At half time, it had reversed 8 points the other way. At 3/4 time, there's only 3 points in at Eltham's way, and in the end, there's 1 point. You couldn't have asked for a better game of footy. I've spoken to a few people. I've left Bongo alone for a couple of days whilst he's dealing with the passing of his friend, but I'll catch up with him later in the week. But when he's got new recruit Daniel Anetta as best on ground, Keith Robertson, Cooper Dums, Dave Evans, Declan Ayres, and Zane Andretta all in his best, that's scary because Lane Sinclair back in the side, the captain, if he's not in the best, you know that you're in good shape because he's a sensational player on his own. But for these guys, I think fantastic. And the goals are spread a little bit here as well. But 5 to Dave Evans is just, that's gold.
Got him over the line.
And then you have a look at guys like Federico for West Preston, just absolutely smashing it there as well. Harmon just can't get near him. There's a lot of upside for both sides, and if I could rewrite my ladder right now, it would look a little bit different than it did 2 weeks ago. So,
which leads into a really interesting one next week, which I'm sure you guys will cover on the Northern Footy Show on Wednesday night, between North Heidelberg and West Preston at the Kennel.
I was saying, sorry, as I have a drink there, I was saying to someone in another league today that I met with this morning is that if North lose this game, people start talking about them in a relegation zone. But speaking to someone from Bundoora today said they're actually a really good side. So that's how tight this division is, 2, 3, 10. It's very, very tight. Let's move on to the next game straight away. Hurstbridge versus Diamond Creek. This is the shock of the week. I have no more slabs to give, Joel Grote. Stop asking. Stop sending me texts. There's 5 slabs coming your way Thursday night. I'm coming down to the ground with Brainy Brothers. I have another function on with Flickr, I hope, tomorrow night, so I couldn't do tomorrow night. But Hurstbridge 11-5-71 went down to Diamond Creek 10-12. Pete, if I told you that 2 weeks ago before the bounce in round 1 that Diamond Creek will not have lost a game by the end of round 2, you would have told me I was an absolute Fruit Loop.
I would have thought that you just knocked over a full slab of the Breeny Brothers draft on your own and were starting to give your predictions for this year. But what an outstanding effort from Diamond Creek, firstly.
Unbelievable.
They've got 6 points out of 2 games, could have quite easily been 2-0. Fantastic effort, but as we discussed last week, people have been talking about them being a club that is going to be ready to move up and could have been there a couple of years earlier. So, and they're known for their defensive structure. That's what they've been known for years and years. And then they said, well, we've got to get some more goal scoring into our game. And again, their defensive structure that they've got going there is holding up in the highest division in our competition.
I totally agree. You're spot on there because Diamond Creek at quarter time, 2 weeks in a row, held a healthy lead. They were 27 points up at quarter time, 12 points up at half time, 7 points up at 3/4 time, and got the job done by a point. Now, Diamond Creek will not get relegated this year. That is 100% because last year 8 points was enough to stay in. I don't think it will be enough this year. I think you're going to need 4 to 5 wins anyway to not get relegated because I think it's going to be that close. And once injuries start creeping into sides, but these early wins are worth nearly double points.
Absolutely.
Excellent work by Diamond Creek. Andrew Tranquilli has them absolutely humming. Their best on ground was Farah, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, come on, mate.
Come on. You just somebody else got it about. Matty Lewis, Blake Hamilton, Dale Marshall. Dale Marshall's just an absolute iconic player of this league, and he is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He could have easily retired, but he didn't. And look, why would you? He's still best on in the best on. Ewan McPherson and Jack Ampey, and they've got so many young kids like Miller Connell comes through the side. Cade Garraway is going to be an absolute superstar. You've got all these babies in the side. These guys are going to be something absolutely special. No disrespect, though, to Hurstbridge, and whilst most people would say, you know, Montmorency must have played bad last week, it's clearly they didn't, and Diamond Creek's the real deal. 16 scoring shots to 22 would be my only concern for Hursty.
Yep.
Their best players, Joel Naylor, Jake Richards, Lachlan East, Caelan Anderson, also known as the X Factor. Cooper Perrin and Ethan Taylor. ET, captain's always in the best. He is absolutely fantastic for those guys. But no disrespect in what seems to be a really good side. The X Factor kicked 3 goals. Nash Dyer kicked 2. But Joel Naylor nailed 5. Nailed 5. I reckon I could do something with that on social media.
Yeah, he's a star. He had a great, final season last year.
Now,
so a quick one, just on Hursty.
Yep.
So have they just been slow out of the blocks this year because they've had a massive off-season?
Got smashed with injury.
Yeah.
Smashed with injury. Mitch Machete out for the season with a knee.
Cooper
season. I don't know if it's season, but shoulder's pretty bad. Obviously lost. I can't believe I've gone blank. He's gone to Carlton. He's in their leadership group this year. He was going to go play up at Marwela anyway.
That's right. Yep.
Oh my God, it'll come to me in a minute. Stockiest little funny guy you'll ever meet. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. It'll come to me in a minute. But he's a superstar as well. But, yeah, they lost a lot. They've had a lot of injuries. They did bring in a lot of guys like Josh Dintasante, Williamstown. And you're not going to get access to the other boys at Willie that often. So if they're all available, they're an amazing side. That's why, I was sort of thinking they're third or they're fourth. The problem is it looks like some others are rising, as well. This is going to be tight. And I'm going to redo my final 5 after round 4 because it's going to look very different.
Yeah.
You know, Bundoora second on the ladder for crying out loud. Like, who would have picked that?
Well, since you haven't been on them, they've lifted.
I know. The kiss of death, everyone tells me I've got. Before we move on from this game, I am covering both of these sides this week on Local Sports Network. I will be calling the Greensboro-Hurstbridge game live from Greensboro's home ground. And then Saturday night, 7 p.m, the two undefeated sides in Diamond Creek and Bundoora will be playing at 7 p.m, and I'll be covering that game live on Local Sports Network as well. So if you're in for a weekend of footy and you haven't downloaded the app yet, get onto Apple, download the app, or get to my website, localsportsnetwork.com.au, and you'll see the app there. And the Google app on Play Store will be available from Wednesday. Banyule Greensboro. Oh, this one hurt a little bit, but I actually wore a Greensboro shirt to the game, and I got no lack of advice about I'm supposed to be independent. Let me tell you on radio and really clear, or podcast really clear, that when I'm not doing Northern Footy Show, I'm a dad, and I will go and support my son. I barrack for whoever my son plays for, and there's no doubt about that. Anyway, but Banyule got the chocolates over Greensboro, 11-9-75 to Greensboro, 10-10-70. Now, I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
Banyule absolutely deserved that victory.
Yep.
I thought...
Clearly the best team on the day.
They had a lot of kids. They had some serious outs of that side. Kyoji was unavailable. Wow. They had some other injuries, and, you know, they had a lot of... I think they had 3 or 4 19s that played in that game that come up to fill the holes.
The other two youngsters who went really well too, that was Jack Langford and Tim Martin.
Jack Langford was sensational.
Yeah, unbelievable. I know, obviously involved with Jack at the cricket club, and he is a superstar still. I can't pronounce his name, so we call him JLV. Jean-Luc Velasaris, but JLV. I was actually going to go and say good day to him, but I was in a Greensboro shirt, so I didn't want him to punch me. But JLV, I do want to catch up with you and get you on the show at some stage. His second half was mind-blowing. His last quarter was as good as I've ever seen, elite level. Changed the game through the centre, was amazing. But they had no lack of stars, is the truth on that day. Langford was fantastic, best on ground. JLV was sensational. Ethan Boyd, Samuel Sheard. Tim Martin, for me, you know, I know he's been named 4th or 5th in this. For me, he was probably best on. For me, he was that influential. Yeah. We probably got destroyed in the ruck. Like, you know, we had a really tall guy in there, you know, Jamie Smith, and nothing against Jamie here, but their other ruckmen just dismantled us a bit. They were winning the taps, and when that needed to happen, they did it, and they did it very, very well. You would have thought they were Heidelberg. They did it that well. There was a 2-minute period which looked like a training drill. Yeah, well, Tim's a star. He's been a star in the competition since he came here. He was a star up in the country, and, you know, big-bodied, smart, you know, he's an absolute ripper. So no surprise to hear that he stood up and got them going for the win.
There was a lot of emotion, but both coaches at the death knock were sensational. They were calm, they were contrived, the message was clear. I was so impressed with both, and I look at things a little bit differently now with the footy show and commentary, and these were two sides that, you know, they definitely deserved it. It would not be right to not say that Thomas Brindley was anything short of sensational. I gave him personally best on ground when I commentated for Plenty Valley FM the first game, and I give him best on ground again for that one. And from there was no lack of other good contributors there with Harry Andronaco, and William McFawn was sensational, Marty Fitzgerald, Willie O'Dwyer, Richards, great, and James McCubbin for me is electrifying with his brute. Like, I'd be scared shitless to go near that bloke on a game day. He was sensational. So it was a game fought out to the end, and they did a really good job as well making sure that they controlled the centre. For a young group, I was bloody impressed. That's the truth, and no bias. I did want to go in the rooms and say g'day to the other. I just couldn't. I can't wear a Greensboro shirt to the game again.
You might have to take 2 shirts.
That's a good idea. I'll rip one off and put one in the jacket moving forward. A few players came up to me and just sort of had a couple of words to me from the other side about my shirt, but it's all good. I was being a dad.
We've got a term down at the club, feedback's a gift.
Yes. Well, I must get a lot of gifts. So that was a very impressive win. Banyule, I think, is one of the sides I'd now be thinking would be very close to that 5th position at the moment. They were very close against Bundoora the week before, and now they've knocked off Greensboro, who I had to finish 2nd. So,
well, guess who they get this week?
I haven't looked it up. Who's they got?
They have got Heidelberg, the Battle of Beverly Road.
Could I tip an upset?
You can. I'm sure if people like drinking breenies, they'd love to hear you say that. But,
I'm going to call Kyoji.
No disrespect to Banyule at all, but yeah, they've got that game, and it's a big game between those two clubs. They've got some great competitive respect.
Yep.
But in a short period of time with Banyule in First Division, it's sort of no love lost there, but between them, but respectful. And I'd expect a huge crowd at that one.
Don't be shocked if something odd happens, because those kids were sensational on the weekend, and the experience in kids mix was just the perfect blend. Coach would have been over the moon at Banyule with that. That's a game they didn't pen in with a W. I don't believe they would have.
At the start of the year. Well, especially with the off-season. It was well documented that they had quite a few players movement around in that off-season. They once again started looking at, okay, well, where's our youth? How can we build this? This is going to be a longer-term plan. We're not folding our cards and saying we can't make finals, but what we're actually looking at here is how can we build something sustainable for Banyule Football Club moving forward?
Yep.
They've added in some talent.
Rowan Welsh as a coach.
Exactly.
So calm under pressure. I actually was told he's a screamer. I did not see that on the weekend. I seen a coach in total calmness, nearly zen.
Really?
Scary.
Really?
I was more scared. I was waiting for him to blow up. It didn't happen. But no, I'd love to get
well done
Rowan
to
on the show
Banyule.
as
Yeah,
well.
building something there, and obviously a massive challenge this week against the Berg.
Yep. All right, so let's go to the Burgers next. So they took on Montmorency, and, it's hard to come up against Heidelberg. There's no doubt in the world. 13-12-90 Heidelberg to Montmorency, 6-7-43 at Warringal Park as well. It's a double whammy when you get them there. Montmorency go it's a draw, no
2
wins.
points out of 2
points.
games.
Yep. So I was going to say they're winless. They're not winless. Well, they are
They're
winless.
winless.
Yeah, we
Technically
can go there.
correct.
All right, so we'll go with that. But too good, the Burgers. Look, you know what? Heidelberg started with a lead of 11 points, was still 11 points at halftime, broke away, though, in the third, and they're out to 32 points. And bang, before you know it, it's 47 points at the end of the game. When Sammy Gilmore, who's about 712 years old, I reckon he's the same age as Wayne Schultz. Don't hit me, Sammy. I love you. But that you can't buy experience is my point. What those guys know, they've forgotten more than they've learned, and what they are able to do on the day. Sam Gilmore, like Wayne Schultz, is one of the nicest men you'll ever meet in your life.
Absolutely, yep.
I love seeing Gilmore in the best. I love seeing KP. Keenan Poss is one of the best blokes you'll ever meet.
Keenan.
Jack McKenna, Jordan Smith, Alexander Backhouse, and Lukey Bunker in there again. A few people told me if Luke doesn't win the medal again this year, they'll go, they said he was sensational all week. I'm not sure he's listed 5th. Maybe Vinny's hiding him a bit. But, sensational for them. Goal kickers, Jack Andrews piled on 4 big ones. Zane Barzan kicked 3 for fun. Jordan Smith 2 as well.
Geordie, well done.
They're the majors. And for Montmorency, I reckon if you're within 50 points of Heidelberg, you've probably played pretty well. Dylan Marriott, Tommy Vrickick, and William Jenkins, Nash Holmes, I love, and Corey Slape. No disrespect. You know what? They've had 2 tough-ups to start the season.
Yep.
They'll take a fair bit out of those. Nick Rutley's a bloody smart man. They'll take a lot out of this. They'll get to reset a little bit here right now. They won't love where they sit on the ladder here, at 8th, but it's only round 2. Let's breathe a little.
Correct. That's that list on paper.
Yep.
right, looks too good, right,
To be
for
sitting in
people.
eighth.
Correct.
Yeah,
So it'll take a little bit of time. It'll come
correct.
together and all the rest of it. One thing I wanted to say about the Berg, though.
Yep.
Well, two things, actually. Firstly, how was the 4 outs, right? Brody Tardio, Nathan Huntley, Lockie Wilson and Darcy Edmonds went out of that team on Thursday night.
Yep. And here's the bad news. You're thinking as a player that's come in, I've got my chance.
That is...
You could have had 71 possessions like Caff, and it's not enough. Those guys come straight back in.
Yeah. But that said, look, everyone knows how good their list is, right, and how well coached they are, and what an organisation they are, that everyone lauds and loves to hate at the same time. But, hey...
You would know. But we'll get to you. We'll get to you, Edward.
Oh, please. You're comparing us to Heidelberg.
I'm comparing your blueprint.
Greenies.
I'm comparing your
Get off the
blueprint.
greenies.
We'll get to
But
that.
one thing I did want to say, actually, just on that, and the thing is that I believe gets missed with Heidelberg, they have kept that Montmorency list to 6 goals, 7.
Amazing.
So their defensive effort, right, the way they are set up, the way they are drilled, the way they rebound and attack from that back, superbly led, as you said before, by Keenan Potter.
Yeah, KP is just the best.
He quarterbacks that like you would not believe.
Yep.
And their ability to set up that defensive structure and just say to people, you're not in the game, before we even get to that midfield and forward line.
Crazy.
And I think that's something that gets a little bit forgotten about with Heidelberg Footy Club.
I try to watch as many games back as I can in 3-speed, because the only way I can get through the games. Although I did watch your game the first quarter in normal speed, but I watched when you watch Heidelberg, and they're my best example. What I'd say to you about Heidelberg is watch how much they possess the ball.
Oh, it's incredible.
They don't give it up. They don't take high-level risks. And I'd love to sit down with him when he's finished, Vinny Dettoli, and just say, obviously your game plan is about, while I've got it, they haven't. It's got to be as simple as that. And I've had many conversations with Vinny. Vinny's all about you don't need to overcomplicate a game of footy.
No.
Some coaches can just totally overcomplicate that game, and there's no need to do that. From my perspective, I thought they're amazing.
Yep.
And, their efficiencies are off the charts. We'll speak about those on the footy show this week, about their percentages of efficiency. They don't have any areas that aren't green.
No.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yep.
All right, we'll get to that. Let's get to the next one. This show could go for about 4 hours because we could talk all day. But North Heidelberg, 8-6-54 went down to Bundoora Bulls, 11-6-72. Bundoora go 2-0. That's a shock to me. I had them 1-1 at this stage, and I actually spoke to someone from the club today, a senior person there, and just said, well done. 2-0, you're second on the ladder. I'm commentating your game on the weekend where you're both undefeated. This is huge. I love what you're doing. Grant Kigg's doing something special there. He's brought a lot of new players in this year.
Yep.
I'm not sure whether his role's director of coaching or footy manager, but he's a guy that's been in the system for a long time. He understands the system. Whilst they won't admit it, their goal isn't to win a flag this year. They're building to it, though, and that's a smarter way to do it. You can't do it in a year generally unless you're Eddie Maguire of the North. We'll come to him. But 17 scoring shots to Bundoora, to 14 to North Heidelberg. I rewatched the game. It got away from North Heidelberg, in my opinion, in the first quarter and a half. Casey might have something to say to me about this, but it's very hard to. It's very hard when you're going to let your men be that loose through that whole process, and that's exactly what happened. The game got away from North Heidelberg in that first quarter and a half for me. There wasn't enough manning up, and once you gave them that bit of an edge, it was difficult. They were out to, I think, 12 points at quarter time, Bundoora in front. Then they were up by 8 points at half time. They did peg a couple back there towards the end of that second quarter, North Heidelberg. But then, the Bulls put the pedal to the metal, broke away again out to 20 points at three-quarter time and, pretty much the margin, 18 points at the end of the game. Good things for Bundoora, though, is O'Neill Moncrief, who I'm only hearing amazing information on, best on ground, Isaac McMillan, regular contributor, Riley Green, amazing, Liam Kohler, ex-VFL star, Peter McAvoy, ex-Coburg captain, and another one of these older guys, Pete, that just continues to deliver, and Daniel Constanzo. Now, they had a few out. Luke Lavolvo was out of that side, and I was a little bit worried going into that side. I didn't tip Bundoora. Pete McAvoy kicked 3, 4 to Jesse King, who's an absolute jet. I'm a big fan of Jesse King. I seem to say that every week. But, for them, they go 2-zip. They're second on the ladder. You're only as good as your last game. And I had North Heidelberg to finish 5th. If they lose this week, the talk will be about 3 winnable games. To be fair, Heidelberg probably isn't classed as a winnable game. But if they lose this week and they've dropped 3 in a row, people do start to say, well, this league's a bit closer. And being 12 points down after 3 rounds, that's a lot you got to catch up.
Well, especially when you consider that North Heidelberg's game is actually against West Preston.
If they lose that, it's all talk.
They'll be 0-3 if they lose that.
To another side that is in relegation talk.
Correct. So
maybe
all the
deserve
chatter,
to be now.
rightly or wrongly, all the chatter will go there.
Yep.
And conversely, the other way, you've got Bundoora, who goes to Dymo to play.
A night game.
Yep. And if they win, they're 3-0.
Yep. And all of a sudden, it'd be hard to see them. I know this is a silly statement, but hard to see them missing finals with 12 points under the belt and have taken on a couple of decent sides who would be competing for that 5th spot. So North Heidelberg competing for that 5th spot, got them at Shelley Park. North lose a bit of love soon because they leave Shelley Park. This is the last game this
Ford
week.
Park, I think.
Yep. So Ford Park. So you don't get you that home ground advantage isn't as much. And if they lose it to West Preston, you're fighting for those. You're still going to come up against some other very good sides, Greensey, Hursty, Monty, and Eltham. It's a tight league, isn't it?
It is a tight league. It is.
So we love that. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to them there. All right, let's go to Division 2 because we've spent way too long on Division 1, but that doesn't matter. Let's power through. This division's definitely, Pete, for me,
the hardest
closest
one to call.
Oh, mate, this is harder to pick than a broken nose. But let's start with Fitzroy Stars. They're unlucky to be 0-2, but they went down 13-91 to Lower Plenty, 15-8-98. 26 scoring shots to 23. That's 2 weeks in a row. Inaccurate kicking has hurt Fitzroy Stars. Lower Plenty, though, congratulations. I did not think you'd get it done. And what this proves, Pete, consistently is Dazza knows shit.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. And when I'm out and talking to the people, that's what they're telling me.
They're right. They're right. I've got a voice and a microphone. Isn't that what they say? That's why you need to have an opinion.
That's it. Everybody's got them too.
So, I mean, for Lower Plenty, good on them. Like I'm happy for them. I'm stoked and always have the same contributors. Jordan Sacco's a star there. Seth Hill, Michael Brown, Jack Chubb, best on ground though. Yeah. Nathan Raphael there and Jack Hutchinson. Good on them. Goal kickers, 2 to Jack Magden, which is pretty nice, but 6 to Jack Chubb. Deserves his best on ground there. But look how wide they're spread. 2 to Alexander, 2 to Flynn Davis, another 2 to Mike Mitchell Skipper. All of a sudden, you've got plenty of guys that can put it behind the sticks, haven't you? And that's pretty exciting. For Fitzroy Stars, Eddie Betts was a late withdrawal just minutes before the game, I understand. So for their best, they had Thomas Clark, Ethan Penrith, superstar, Nev Jetta, another one of these guys with age that just gets better and better with age. Matty Williamson, KP, Kane Proctor, and Keaton Roman. I thought he was out, but he was played because he was listed online as being an out. But
so maybe he came in for Eddie.
Perhaps, yeah, could have been that. Yeah, and a great player. And if that was the swap, well, he's just proven why he should still be in that side. But
yep, when you get your opportunity,
amazing.
Yep.
They haven't listed their goal kickers online, so I can't tell you who did them. But notwithstanding that, good on them. But good on Lower Plenty. They press forward, and they'll be pretty happy with that. Then we go to Panton Hill, who we had on the show during the week. They went down 8-4-52 to Northcote Park, who have been impressive so far. Mm-hmm. They call it Ahmad Park now.
Yep.
It's been renamed.
So.
Right named. If you're not an Ahmad or you're not a Perry, you probably can't get selected there these days. But,
correct.
They were 15-13, 103, 28 scoring shots to 12. It looked like that with a 51-point victory. Panton Hill, they're fighting hard. We all know what it's like to be down there. It's tough, and you've got to keep powering through. They're going to steal one, though. I just feel they're going to steal a couple, and this league is going to be very, very, very tight. For Northcote Park, their best players were Bryson Norris, Finn Hatfield, James McCarty, Dan Talligati. I always say that one wrong. Anthony Milletta and Ricky Fandrich. I think all very good players for Northcote Park and being consistent. Goal kickers for them. One to Ty O'Brien. Love him. New recruit. He's been very impressive. Leo Ahmed, probably by the time he's finished, I'll nearly call it the Leo Ahmed Park. Forget, he'll just get rid of Joe.
Joe?
Joe's his dad. Yeah, Joe's no good. He's finished. He was yesterday's news. I'm only joking, Joey. He'd break your skull in half, I reckon. Michael Ahmed, 2 goals as well. 4 to Ricky Fandrick, as we said before, he's a star. Noah Langborn scores 1. Look how wide they spread. Benjamin Brett, 3.
It's a good spread.
Yeah, really good spread. And for Panton Hill, yes, they've gone down by 51 points, but against a side I think that is going to be right on the donger this year, Northcote Park. I tipped them to be in the top 5. But Austin Dillon, Paul Vavalides, again in the best, come back. Jesse Owens, Draper, Ethan Gorgievsky, Riley Livingston, and Oliver Parks. Wow, you take out of it what you will, but 2-0 for Northcote Park.
They take on McLeod this week.
Ooh, it's the test, aren't they? Good. We're going to get to them in 1 second. Weren't they sensational? But Northcote Park are on top of the ladder. Let's skip one and go to the McLeod-Whittlesea game.
Sure.
Because I actually tipped Whittlesea. I had Gary Ramsey on the phone before the start of the game on my program on LSN in the morning before the game. I actually thought Whittlesea would nearly go undefeated this year. I thought they were strong, that good a side, but again, what do I know? McLeod came out and went 16-12, 108 to 3-12, 30.
Incredible. And a turnaround from
say?
week 1 to week 2, which goes to prove that 7 days is a very long time in local footy at the moment.
Yep.
Look, spoke to a couple of mates of mine who came down and watched our game after McLeod on the weekend. Really, really happy they were with the way that they responded after the first week's loss. And then, are we shocked that the co-captain, after being held goalless the week before, sets himself for this one against the flag favourite and goes 7 goals, bang, thanks very much, boys, jump on my back. We've got it all done here.
And something's going on down there because I'm hearing he gave a few off.
You absolute star. That is leadership 101.
Another 100 may be coming his way. He is a generational player. He's fantastic.
Yep.
The good news is not only did he kick 7, you scroll down the list and there's plenty of ones with Mackenzie Hogg getting one, Jordan Corelli getting one, and then go down to Patrick Martin, kick 1. But then Jasper Howe says, I'll have 4 of my own.
Yeah, thanks very much.
No
Don't
worries.
forget about me.
Good on them. They're going to be tough. They're another one. I had them second on the ladder. Do I need to switch that after round 4? I don't know.
After the first round, and
looked right.
When they got belted, everyone goes, is this going to be the scenario where the team who played in the grand final the year before had a shocker, got completely outplayed? Does that crush that group for a little while? Well,
no.
Round 2 says no.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, Lynch is going to say, well, don't go anywhere come September because we want to play a really, really big part of that.
Superstar.
Yep.
Then we move to South Morang. Another one I didn't get right. South Morang, 19-11. You worked out I don't get many right. 19-11.
Just don't pick us up.
125 to St Mary's, 9-16-70. So 25 scoring shots to 30. The score should have been a lot closer than 55 points. South Morang, real deal. Had them finishing second on the ladder, despite having not tipped them yet, which is criminal. South Morang, I won't be not tipping you again for a while. Let me give you the heads up. But good on them. Nathan Stefano, the big ruckman, sensational. Davin Cameron, no lack of experience there. Good young player. Matthew Robinson, Tyson Gresham in the side. Just you can't go wrong with him. He's a nuggety little machine.
Sebi.
Oh, Seb Latina, superstar, and Jesse John Christides. Also a gun, and, they didn't have from memory. I don't think Cumberland played. I could be wrong. No, he didn't play. He's not on the sheet. So, they get him to come back yet. Ethan Lowe kicks three.
Over from Watsy.
Yep. That's handy. They're missing a couple of players with injury. J-Lo kicks three. Josh Lansfield is in the song, so he'll kick goals all year long. So, Nick Lawson, another one that came over from Watsy. I think he was a Watsy boy, Nick Lawson.
Not sure, you got me on that
one. Kicked three as well. And then you got plenty of guys, Bailey Brown and Rocco Grillo and Seb Latina, all kicking one. Seb Latina from Epping. So, good on them. And as for St Mary's, they've been smashed with the injury stick.
Yeah.
They have absolutely. I spoke to Jack, their coach, the other day. We're back and forthing. I've just sucked him into playing in the MND game, the big Diamond Creek game. It got him and got Nick Lynch.
Really?
Yep, that'll get announced this week. So if you listen to the podcast, you got pre-access. Both boys are going to lace that up for MND night, which I'm very, very happy about. To be fair, Nick Lynch said, I'm not only playing if you get Jack. So suck Jack and I'm in. So I've got him in. But for them, with what they've got, this isn't a train smash. Will Dean, Tarwin Rennie, Harry Butterworth in the best again. That's two in a row. Aidan Patera. God, I'm going to pull this one off. Jake Dambrukanis. Stay with me. You're now JD. And Josh Corelli. You know what? They've got a good side. They've got players. I'm going to give you a pass mark on this one because
they're 1-1.
You're 1-1, and you know what? You have been absolutely smashed with an injury stick.
Well, at the start of the year, they've started with McLeod.
Yep.
And they've started with South Morang.
Yep.
What would have people honestly penciled them in for?
1-1. And that's where they are.
So
you got to be a realist sometimes, don't you?
Yep.
And then you've got the last game there.
Parade and Tomo.
Second on the ladder, old Paradians.
The Raiders.
Just FYI, 14-15-99. You might need to get Pete Rawley down for goal kicking practice, lads. Give us a yell and we'll come
29
down.
Points.
No. Oh, don't get Pete. I'll come down. I'll do it, boys. It's not hard from the pocket. Versus Thomastown, 14-9-93. No disrespect to Thomastown. Another side I thought might struggle. They're not going to struggle. They're going to push for finals. Make no mistake there. And Garvey Oval boys, they are pumped, I reckon. They are thinking we're playing finals and we're going to push.
You reckon they're going to go
straight
away?
I just... Look,
it's not that I don't.
Second year at it, I think...
I know what BT and Vino are like, right? And I think that they will very much be saying...
Is it in their sights?
Oh, well, of course, it's in everyone's sights. That division, as you said, is as close as we can remember for a while.
Anyone can win this year.
Not with anyone sort of saying, right, I'm outstanding, like Dymo probably were last year,
yes.
In fairness, right?
I don't know his issue, but anyway.
Rubbish. But they are, I think what BT would be looking at is he'd be looking at how can we continue to improve, how can we continue to bring these new players into our list and gel. We're 2-0 out of 2 games. Last year it took us to, round 6 or 7 before we got our first points, and then we became a little bit more competitive. So before they even had the off-season, they were improving in the second half of last year. They were harder and harder to play against.
I agree with that.
And this is just a continuation of that. So they will stick to that plan. They will keep working to that plan of growth. And what the outcome is at the end of that process, we'll see where that ends up at the end of the year. But I don't think they're saying we will be here. That's not the chatter I've had with them. So.
I think they're going to be at the pointy end, despite, if you have a look at my pre-season prediction, I don't think I put them in the 5. But
they'll be happy about that.
I know. I got a couple of comments from a few people going, you'll see, you imbecile. And, the truth is they're right. But their best players were Kyle O'Sullivan, Elias Stapleton, Sam Philp, Connor McDonald, Noah White, and Michael Bounty. Gee, all amazing names,
Well, Connor hasn't missed missed out on being in the best, and in his 2 games, he can play.
4 goals, Michael Boundy too. So, some excellent stuff there. Noah Whittle had 3 as well. And for Thomastown, Yusuf Dib, always in the best.
Yep.
Ross Hatzis, I think he's a great little player, Rossi Hatzis, and I'm glad that he's getting his crack there. And James Lacente in the best as well. Zane Yannick, Lawrence LaPiccolo, and Adrian Natoli. Look, for these guys, 3 goals to Yusuf Dib. He always is thereabouts, with them. James Lacente, the vice captain, puts on 3. But again, the spread's pretty good across the side. I think they're a lot better than I gave them credit for under new president Scotty Hayes.
I think that they're definitely improved, and they're going to continue to improve throughout the course of the year. It's been spoken about a lot with Harrow coming in there and working with Sash and that sort of thing. Ruben didn't play on the weekend.
Yep.
Who's a really important recruit for them for the year. In saying that, Parade got a couple of early injuries too, so we're down a couple of rotations. But Tomo, right. People are just saying, oh, well, they're just going to be down the bottom. We'll pencil that in. You will be mistaken because they are going to continue to improve throughout the course of the year in what we know is a really competitive
I need a slap button on here. Every time that next week when we're in the studio, I will have a slap button here. And every time that I've stuffed a call up this year, I press slap. It might sound more like a song by the end of the show. But if I told you, Pete, 2 weeks ago that Whittlesea will be in 8th position after round 2, and I told you that South Morang wouldn't be in the top 3, but the ladder would be led by Northcote Park and Old Paradian, what have you said? I was on crack.
I would have said you're on your Breenies again, mate.
Can't beat Brainy Brewing.
Too many drafts, or maybe the Royals.
Maybe I went to a function that was run by Signature Sports because Benny puts on a very, very good,
Indeed.
Very good one. And I'm not sure if you know the boys at Holmes Plumbing. Holmes Plumbing, where our new studio will be as well. Best plumbers in the northern suburbs. If you're not using Holmes, you won't have a home.
Really?
Like what I did there?
I like it. I like it. I don't know if they'll like it, and I don't know if their marketing department's going to be your next phone call.
But you got to go to homesplumbing.com.au. But we'll having a bit of fun here. We'll smack it around. Now we're going to get to the division that everyone's talking about. Is it the Eddie division? Is it the money division? We heard you've written checks in excess of $3,000 a game for players, Pete. I'm getting hate mail because I bagged you out the other day, and I didn't even bag you out. I was giving you a rap because you had so many 1-pointers there. We're going to bleed this a little bit longer because we're going to do your game last. So we'll start with Old Eltham, who I liked the week before against West Heidelberg. I wouldn't say they were stiff to not win it, but they were very competitive. Heidelberg West definitely deserved the
win on the day.
The win on the day. But this week, Old Eltham Collegians got the job done. 12-18. Again, get me down for goal kicking, boys. I kicked 7 in my career. So 12-18-90 to King Lake, who are in a bit of strife here. 8-6-54. Well done to Stuart, their new coach. He's a good fella too. Good fella. They got the points, man. Like they're gonna.
The dome would have been rocking on Saturday night.
Guess who we've got on Wednesday?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I've got the turtle.
Oh,
turtle's coming on the show.
Have you seen that?
I've seen the video. Would have you loved that?
It is an absolute belter. Shout out to the Turtles. Just for doing something a little bit different.
Zach Cole, I'm not sure. I'm getting mixed responses. But if you didn't see it and you're wondering what the hell these two old farts are talking about, there was a turtle, a man dressed as a turtle, running up and down the streets of Eltham.
Honk for the turtle.
Honk for the turtle, promoting that the turtles, he was getting a acai, mate. Is that what you call it? Acai bowls or whatever it is. He was visiting their sponsors. You know what? That is A-grade marketing. Well done.
Classic.
And I reached out to JK and said, a couple of these turtle boys. I want the turtle on the show. So they're coming in, but they had a very good win, 36 points against King Lake. For King Lake, that probably spells a couple of troubles because I had them in my 5.
They got Lorimer next week at Lorimer.
That's not going to go so well, I wouldn't have thought. But I've been wrong a few times this year. Prove me wrong, King Lake. That's a tough game, though. Going to Lorimer, that's a tough game.
Oh, there's no tougher game in our division.
There might be. We'll talk about that one in a minute.
Tough.
But for old Eltham Collegians, their best again, Bodie Maroney. I love his name.
Yeah.
Bodie
That's
Maroney.
because
We're
you're
old
on
enough
music.
to know. Yeah. So Bodie Maroney's not a bad looking rooster either. I reckon the girls might have liked his eyes and he's doing all right. I hate pretty boys. They do that in. Connor Pilati, Blake McCallum, Lennox Thompson again there, Saxon Hokins.
Can play the young fella.
Who's that?
Lennox Thompson.
Yes. Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive, I
Yeah,
agree.
saw him at the Heidelberg West game.
Yes.
He, I think, has a bright future.
I agree.
He very, very impressive.
Probably too good for Division 3, with all due respect. Good on him for playing there and doing everything. Get a good season under your belt. Go and push yourself. You might go to that other side that's in Division 2 next year. I have no idea. Anyway, I'll come to that. But they were sensational, and I think Logan
Nick
Martin
Milne
was the other one.
Checked in for 3.
Yep.
For the Turtles as well. Very good player, Nick, and has been around for a while there. So he's bagged 3 in an important game for them, which was great. But, as I said, the Dome would have been rocking.
Thomas
for
Burns
sure.
got 3 as well there as well. And for the King Lake Lakers, Liam Lucas, Lockie White, Mason McAllister, Harry
course.
Hobbs, Dean Limback and Connor Cordo. Look, all in their best. It's only 2 games gone. Plenty
Correct.
of time, Lakers. Let's calm the farm a little bit.
Correct.
You've
Dave Florence will be sitting there and trying to work things out for sure.
Yep.
And, but it is tough. They had
tough division.
Look, it's a tough division, but also they had what would you call, an unsettling off-season,
Yes.
right? So they had
Lost a few.
They lost a few, which was a bit unsettling. They were backwards and forwards about when they'd be on their ground, off their ground, that sort of thing. But if you turn that around, look at some of the positives. They've got a 19s up there.
Love it.
Right? So, again, this mightn't be the short play when they lost some top-end talent and 2 forward as you build. So, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anyone about that. But, I don't think we throw the baby out with the bathwater just on this.
Not at all. I've done that to a few sides already, and it's bitten me right in the Khyber Pass. Let's talk about this next one, because I got a real positive out of this game. So Epping, 16-11-107, took care of Laylaw, 6-5-41. But 41 points for Laylaw against a pretty nice-looking Epping at the moment. I reckon Laylaw's actually climbing. They're getting better. I watched the replay. I watched the first quarter in normal speed, the rest in 3 speed. Other than up to half time, despite the score, Laylaw were unbelievably competitive at the ball.
Yep.
Right now, they were down. They got jumped pretty solidly in the first quarter, and I think it was about 37 points. But at halftime, they'd only put on another 7 or 8 points. But yes, they might have been down 45 points, but they didn't pull out of any contest. And there was a skill difference, no doubt, in the world. And Epping's got some serious stars in their side as well. They're going to be a fraction better than I thought as well.
100%.
I think they're going to be pretty good. But for Laylaw, I was very impressed. I think they've gone up a level, Laylaw.
And Laylaw didn't have their captain and vice captain on the weekend, did they?
Well, they had, I don't know who, it doesn't list them as their captain, young Tommy Sulyok. He's our headband boy. I've got to get on to New Balance for him. I keep forgetting to do it. I might just sponsor him and go and get one made up with a Northern Footy show on it, and we'll just send him out there with it. But no, I'm impressed with him. On the other hand, Brett McCaffrey did not go to hospital with leather poisoning this month. He hasn't told me how many possessions he's had, so let's just assume it's under 30. But, very good for them. They had Lewis Chriscosta in their best. Daniel Rangland, he's a superstar.
7 goals, absolutely smashing it.
Watched him. He's way too good for Division 3. Give him a kiss, pack his bag, because at the end of this year you won't see that boy again. And his dad's a ripper, Gary. He needs to go high, and I'm sure he will go to a club. Same with this kid, Josh Borden. Steve Borden's son, team of the century dad. Josh is no slouch either. be nice if they could steal his brother as well from Mernda. Corey Middleton, Jude Gorgowski, and Adrian Di Sante in the best. I did watch Adrian's game. I thought he was a lot better this week. I thought he presented his body very, very well. So good to see him on the rise. And he played Bundoora ones last year for sort of half a season, and over there under Brent's amazing guidance with Juddy.
I had a special shout out from someone who was at the game and said that Jude Gorgowski's game was next level.
Not surprised.
Now they've named him there, but big athletic background.
Yep.
And they said it was outstanding. So another one to watch throughout the course of the year.
Yep. Jay Kaiser up for him too.
Yeah, absolute ripper. I was told.
I'll put it down to this: if you're trying to win a game and you just can't get it right, if you use a coach smart coach board, it actually helps you out with your moves, your rotations, especially at junior level where rotations are really important. So if you're after the best board in town, coachsmart.com.au. Really getting better at this chucking the sponsors thing in here, Pete. It's pretty good.
Well done, Hutchie.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Don't you start that rubbish. But and I just wanted to give credit. I seen some guys as I was pulling into the grounds, bit of roadworks going on, all kitted out with all things safety, Briar Hill safety wear.
Really?
Can't beat that, Pete.
Well, they had the best there then,
They do have the best. No one's better. Let's move on to Mernda versus Lorimer. Now, the great man. Who's the greatest reporter in the game in local football?
Mickey T.
Mickey T. No one does a better job than Mickey T. He's loved. I didn't know this till the other day. He's a Mernda Life member.
Is he really?
He is. I don't know how many games he played.
Oh, well, not all Life members are just players,
no, absolutely not. And this is my point. How good is it?
No disrespect, Mick, if you were a really good footballer.
I don't think you were, Mick. I'm going to have a stab in the dark and say you probably weren't a great footballer. But he is a great guy, though, and his articles,
outstanding.
A Wakely is what he should be getting.
A Wakely.
For what is that for
pen
reporting?
writing.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm going to nominate you this year. But Mernda got really close. 13-10-88 to Lorimer 14-14-98. All right, so 28 scoring shots to 23 was probably the difference. But I've spoken to plenty of people. I caught up with George Yankos today as well.
Yep.
And he said it was one of the best games of footy he's ever seen in his life. Mickey Thompson said it was one of the best games of footy. Danny Whitaker said it was one of the best games in footy. And they're three guys I rate very highly. George Yankos said Brent Marshall was supreme. If he is doing this at this age, how good was he? He wasn't named best, probably because he didn't put himself in the best, because we give him grief when he does. But Josh Mazzarella was best on for them.
Superstar.
Lincoln Coffey, another player. Don't hate me for saying this, but he needs to challenge himself at the next level. I'd love to see him play Division 1, but I love that he's loyal to Mernda as well. Brent Marshall, Nipper, everyone knows him as Nipper. Billy Morrison in the best. James Sekalowski, we just call him Seka. And Lockie Potter gets married, rocks up the next week, gets in the best. Footy's not hard.
As you do.
Footy's not hard. And the goal scorers, who have we got there in the goal scorers, big fella? 4 to Lincoln Coffey. When your ruckman's kicking 4, you know you're going all right.
Pushed him forward.
Very, very special. And I understand that Lockie Taylor kicked a couple. Kyle Green kicked one. He was up forward for a bit too. Billy Morrison's on the board. Great spread of goal kickers here as well. Heard that Kyle Yankos might be a bit of a sore and sorry boy. Stood in front of the big forward leading out all day, Paddy Fitz.
In front of Daughter.
Had to cut him off a little bit and block the run. You wouldn't want Daughter cleaning you up, would you?
Well,
300 games, Daughter, next week.
Is it really?
300 games, I'm hearing.
Outstanding.
So we're looking forward to that chat. The best on for Lorimer before we talk about it is Joel Lawson, superstar. Jesse Donaldson, even bigger superstar. Liam Waldron, star. Luke Wilson, he's going to be remembered as one of Lorimer's best. Jai Langford, superstar. James Abstead.
More stars than the Milky Way.
More stars than Fitzroy stars. There you go. You like what I've done there. But 4 goals to Joel Lawson, 2 to Bailey McLeod, 1 to Hayden Trim, another one to Tyler Arthur, and I think there was another multiple goal kicker in Liam Waldron, and Paddy Fitzgerald, the big bad Daughter, 3.
Yeah, so absolutely no surprise that this was a cracking game of football. Everyone thought it was going to be all week. Mernda at Mernda is very, very tough. For sure. Nipper's had him for a full pre-season.
Yep.
He's putting investing a bit of time into the youth, but then they went and added some real class in terms of experience and all the rest of it. But you are coming up against last year's grand finalists who have improved their list as well.
No, so 10 points is very acceptable.
So I think, look, Lorimer probably got a couple to come back and all the rest of it, but I think that would be disrespecting Mernda and what they've done on the day.
Are you starting smack talk before the game?
Mate.
Oh, bit of smack talk
Have you seen me fight? Why would I start smack talk?
We must have gone to the same fight school.
Seriously. No, not a chance. But I think no surprise there. And I've said this, and people saying, oh, whatever. I've said this all the way that Mernda are in this up to their eyeballs.
I think so.
They will get better and better and better as their new game style is put under match stress.
Yep.
And we already know what we're going to get out of Lorimer because they're the flag faves.
Kyle Green is the completion of that side. You know, when Renee Zellweger said to Tom Cruise, you complete me? Was it? I'm digging deep here, Rules.
I do remember it. I don't know if Kyle's going to be, sort of happy to be compared to that.
Do you reckon Nipper goes up to him before the game and says, mate, you complete me? Can we get a meme going on that? But
I'd love to see that, actually.
They are serious. Jimmy's a ripper. I had him on before the game. He knew it was going to be a hard-fought game.
Absolutely.
Do you know we had a viewer from Japan this week? Mickey Atkins, Jimmy's dad, who I know very well, he tuned in all the way from Japan, and this week he's in Alaska, and he's tuning in on LSN from Alaska. I shit you not, I was pretty pumped. I had a look at the stats where they pop up. They tell you where in the world they're listening to. You know what blows my mind the most?
Yep.
Since we started this season, we're only 2 in, and we did a couple of podcasts. We've been viewed in 16 countries. 16.
Well, we're going to have to get that up.
What are people doing if you listen to us? Is your life that crappy over there? But,
I didn't mean listen to us. I mean maybe listen to some of the other segments
they're listening
that are really
to you.
good.
We're coming to you. You just brace yourself there. Then the shock for the week of me was Reservoir going down 11-13-79 to Watsonia 13-9-87. Why is it a shock? I don't know where Watsonia is going to be. That is the truth. I can't work out whether they're going to finish third or second last. That was the truth. Reservoir, though, I think are a very good outfit with a lot of experience, and we've spoken all show about experience and how important it is. But something clicked at Watsonia at the weekend that's a little bit scary. I sent Clokey a message before trying to get him on the show. He's going to come on over the next couple of weeks, but. For Reservoir to go down there, that will hurt a little bit, the Mustangs, but then it also shows them where that level is at as well in Division 3 because it's a bit tighter than we thought. But when Clokey comes out, and I think he had 6 to half time, Cameron Cloke, 9 for the game.
Did a Jeremy Cameron.
Mate.
Unbelievable.
What a star. To have Cloke in your side, if you can get it to him, you'll win more games than you lose.
Well, again, this was the talk at the start of the year. And look, Reza have got their version of that as well with, Aaron Edwards playing up forward. I think Aaron kicked 4 or something himself. So teams know when they come up against them that there's this big danger. Clokey has come to the club to add that experience.
What a good guy, because he could have gone to a top-end club, no dramas. He could have gone to Ivanhoe for 30, 40 grand.
Could have stayed at Wall.
Yep, and he's gone to a club that's expected to not perform well. Doesn't get enough credit for stuff like that.
Yeah, no, fantastic effort,
love it.
And has won them the game off his own boot. No disrespect to the rest of the team, obviously, but
when you kick 9, everyone's happy to have him. Who's not happy to have him in that side?
Super happy for Scooter Harris, who's jumped into the president's role this year at my old club.
Yep,
Watsy,
tough gig. Are you a Watsy boy?
Played juniors there and a little bit of senior footy under the late great Barry Wrist. Actually,
were you any good? Were you any good as a footballer? Rate yourself out of 10.
Out of 10, 1.
Right, that's 0.5 higher than me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it would be a lot higher than a lot of people who played with me rate me too.
My old man said to me, you should win a Brownlow, son. The only 2 things you're missing is skill and heart. Apparently they're important. All right, so the best there for Reservoir was Paul Scanlon, James Tadd, great start to the season.
Taddy's had two, and the best twice.
Nicholas Melisaris, Jack Sandrick again in the best. Justin Taylor,
JT,
and Ty Williams, fantastic. But no shock here to see Cameron Cloke best on ground. Bit hungry, Clokey, just saying. Nathan Halliburton, Sam Cousins, Dean Tallarico. He actually lives about 2 streets away.
Does he?
Luke Sansetti. And Declan Pearce. Great game, hard fought game. Both winners out of that in principle, because you want good, close footy. League's got to be stoked where all that's going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Watsy now head to Epping to take on Epping this week. That's a ripper.
Going to be crazy.
That's going to be a ripper.
I could have commentated 10 games this weekend and chosen. I don't know which one the league's doing yet. Don't hold me to this at the time of release. I think they're doing a Division 2 game. I'm covering 2 Division 1 games that we spoke about earlier. But there's so many good games out there at the moment. Now, I do know a game that's getting covered on Sunday. Here's a bit of a press release. The first ever women's game to be covered in season. KB and Luke Chin are going to call the Fitzroy Stars versus...
Lower, is it? No,
they play lower on the weekend. We'll check it. You just told me, KB. Fitzroy Stars versus. We'll come back to it. We'll tell you in a second who it was. But yes, that's the. There's going to be a women's game called this Sunday live on Local Sports Network.
Fantastic.
Download the app from the Apple Store. Go to our website. Get the app from the page. And after Wednesday, you can go to Google Play and get it off there. But let's get to the one that everyone's talking about. Kilmore had the bye, by the way. No one wanted to travel down there this weekend. They said we're staying here. You're a Kilmore boy, actually, aren't you?
I am. I live in Kilmore, and get roundly booed when I walk into the Red Lion up there.
They didn't grab you.
No,
what happened there?
No, bullshit.
How'd they let Eddie go?
Sorry. No, they've got a very good president in Lee Irons there. Don't worry about that.
No, he is. I actually love Lee Irons. He's a very good man.
He's a ripper.
All right, let's talk about this and let's get half serious for a minute. Ivanhoe 23-28, 166, defeated Heidelberg West 3-6-24. Now, I watched Heidelberg West the week before. I commentated that game at KB. I thought they were quite good. Right, I didn't see a skill deficiency, and they played in some yucky conditions, a bit wet and greasy.
A bit greasy, rain on and off.
So their skill level for me, I thought they could be 6th, all going well. Maybe, if Jesus struck lightning on them, they'd get 5th. But I'm going to go with, I thought they'd be 6th, 7th or 8th, right? But they could have gone to the top end. But for you to come out and decimate them by 142 points, and I watched your game back, and holy moly, I'm going to be honest here, right? This is about the only non-joke I'm going to make.
Okay.
I think that side would compete with the majority of Division 2. The people you had on the park on the weekend is Division 2 ready. I definitely think you compete with the bottom half of Division 2 comfortably. This is reminiscent of Diamond Creek last year, beating sides consistently very well. And I'm not bagging you. This is a positive. What I loved, and I wrote an article about it, and listen to all you beefheads that smash me online before you read the friggin' article. I was actually praising that they had so many one-pointers there. For a side to win by that much and sit on 39 points of the available 46, my point was you could go out and steal a Luke Bunker, or you could go and steal someone, or you could go get a VFL guy and bring him straight in, and you can afford the 6 points to bring someone in and decimate more. You haven't done that. You've gone with juniors, ex-juniors for the club. Totally love it, but I'm scared shitless for who you're going to play, because West aren't that bad, right? So to be that big of a difference, you go, righto, all right, well, what's the difference? Let me help you what the difference is. Kane Value, superstar. Marcel Moran, gun. Daniel Horsfield, gun. Alex Frederico, son, get to Division 1. Come to Greens, I'll get your game this week. No dramas. Doyley O'Brien, Riley Lowton, give me a spell. Goodison, mate, you've got I nearly have to read out the whole side here, and then you put in Senior Citizen of the Year Wayne Schultz, who goes out and kicks 5 on his 71st birthday. What the hell is going on down there? And congratulations to you. Everyone thinks I'm going to take the mickey out of you. I actually reckon, and I know you're a guy that won't take credit, right? Because and I know that's why I wrote the post I wrote yesterday about you being the Eddie of the Eddie of the North, right? But I honestly love that this isn't a stack side of money and it's not a stack side of points, and that people are loving that you've come back from the ammos in a league where travel isn't so far. The furthest you got to go north is Kilmore. The furthest you need to go south is to Ivanhoe. It's only 15 minutes away from any game. Mate, seriously, well done. I know you expected me to smash out. There's no smart-ass comment to follow this. You've put a lot of effort into, as a president, getting the back end right. You've trusted your senior group and committee to get this end done. Mate, this is a Heidelberg blueprint in Division 3.
Well, thanks very much for the compliment and all the rest of it. Look, I think the thing is that there's, when we were having a look at moving over to the Northern, in all sincerity, we were getting smashed. We were in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of debt. No one wanted to play for us for a host of different reasons. Not no one, but we were really struggling to hold on to our really talented youth. Now, people have known for years and years about, the junior footy club and the talent, and there's still a lot out there, and all the rest of it. So it just made sense for that to be the strategy when we moved. And I had personally a lot of support from presidents and executives within the Northern, and I won't name them or to embarrass them or anything like that, but I had several presidents who took time to have a coffee with us and say, listen, if I was in your position, this is how I'd go about it. So I'm incredibly thankful to all of those. They were in First Division, Second Division, Third Division, while we did that. So incredibly thankful to them. Now, in saying that, I'll take your point absolutely in terms of what our build is, right, and what we're focused on, because we've actually been really open and transparent about that, and that's going to continue to be, how we continue to build our football club and try and improve. But the rest of the stuff that goes along with armchair critics and all the rest of it is fine for other people to say. That's up to them.
I love it.
It's all part of the fun of being in local footy, to have opinions on things and all the rest of it.
And you're good. It's going to come with some of it. When you're good, you've got the critics are out.
But we've played one game of footy as a football club and as a new group this year for points. So do I think we've got a better list than last year? Yes, I do.
Definitely.
All right. We played in a preliminary last year, but we were well short. And our whole club talks about this, ex-players, current players, and all the rest of it. So anyway, without turning this into the Ivanhoe podcast, because I know you want me to do one of those.
I do.
I'm all for everybody out there having their view and opinion and everything like that about what they think where we'll finish and all that sort of stuff. That's completely fine, and that happens, and it's the great thing about local footy.
Yep.
All that banter and all the rest of it, but internally, I can guarantee you that on Saturday night, whilst we were enjoying a win, I sat down with our coaches and our leadership group.
Pulled their head in.
And didn't have to, because they were already doing it and we were already thinking about what we've got to do to play Reservoir Football Club this week, which we absolutely know is coming.
Because it all goes to shit if you drop one against Reservoir.
Well, it goes to shit if you drop one against anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So when people are suggesting we're looking towards round dates or this sort of stuff, that is completely disrespectful for the competition that we're in. Mm-hmm. We played one game.
I did openly, and you know this, I didn't tip you to win the flag. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough to change my opinion. I still think what the benefit Lorimer's got is they've had these kids together for 10 years plus. They know each other better than their parents probably know them because, they're out on the ground together and they speak a few more outside truths that us as parents don't learn. But I want to ask you a couple other questions, right?
Yeah, go for
because let's just be the next questions that will come from this, and they've already started, is they're paying triple the salary cap, or they're paying, someone $5,000 a game. Now, the most common thing we hear on the footy show, and I love people's opinions. It's an opinion show. Have your say.
And that's fine.
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
But what do you say to someone that says there's no way you're putting this side? What's the cap? Is it 80 grand? 80 grand, right? So if someone says there's no way you're putting this side on the park for 80K, what do you say to that?
Well, if I say to them, you're absolutely wrong that we're not doing that, they'll call you a liar.
Yep.
And if I turn around and say, yeah, you're right, they'll say, see, I told you they were cheating. So all I'll say is that we have a lot of juniors who wanted to come back and wanted to do this for a long period of time.
I know that. I've spoken to some of them.
So,
Yeah.
And local footy, it's like that all the time. I remember our first year here, people were saying it, and I won't name the clubs, but they were saying about another one or two clubs that were the favourites that year. And then last year, and, I've got mates at Heidelberg who have copped it since
for years.
Yeah. So, look, mate, I honestly, I could not, and I mean this in the most respectful way, but I couldn't care less what other people say because that's the great thing about local footy. And people can have all that conjecture and people can say, I know they're doing this and I know they're doing that.
Yep. No one knows shit.
Not at any club, really.
And so, if I was in my career...
If you're not at that club.
If I was, whether I'm a Division 3 player or a Division 1 player, if I'm 25 and I'm getting offered... This is honest truth. If someone said, Daz, we'll give you $500 to come and play at Watsonia, no disrespect to Watsonia, they're in a rebuild, right? I'm picking a rebuild side.
Yep.
Or $100 a game to go to Ivanhoe, and I didn't need money to support children, for example, I would go to Ivanhoe because you're a better chance of winning flag, or I'd go to Lorimer, right? So my point is, it's not always about money. Yes, there's mercenaries out there. You're never going to stop it in a million years. Same as if I was a Division 1 player, would I go to West Preston for 500, or would I go to Heidelberg for 100? My chance of getting that flag is so much better this year at Heidelberg. It's not always about money. It's just easy to say you buy flags. Now, the risk is if you do pay over the cap, all that's going to, and I've spoken to many people in this league about this, all it's going to take is one person one day to say, here's the dodgy contract, here's the real contract, here you go, Mr. League, and that club's screwed. So you as a president can't afford your legacy to be known as the dodgy club. Not just you, there's 31 presidents, I met with another league today, and they will be thinking the same things.
Of course.
If you get busted, you're going to lose them, and your club's tarnish is much longer than the premiership you just won. So what I would say to people is, cut it out on the comments a little bit. No, but say what you want. I couldn't care less, But if you send me these questions in, send them in with proof, and I will ask the presidents direct. If you can't, just keep them as a bit of banter, And
Daz, this is no different to the years that we played in the Amos. You know what I mean? There was always rumour and innuendo about players who got paid or some sort of financial compensation there. To when you go to semi-professional leagues, every single club in the whole league, if you're, sort of top, your top 8, everyone's paying overs. So, look, it goes with the territory. That's fine. People can say, what they want. And I personally...
couldn't care less.
Mate, it's part of local footy. People have been doing this people have been, chatting about this sort of stuff for years and years. So, yeah.
Now, on the footy show on Wednesday night, a couple of previews for this week, is we have the turtle coming on.
The turtle.
The turtle's awesome.
Has the turtle got a name?
Don't know.
Zach Cobb, tell us.
Yep.
Zach, tell us
know.
if the turtle's got a name, mate. If you can let us know, that'd be great. I love it,
I like it. We've got him coming on. We're gonna really delve deep into what the first 2 rounds mean and what you take out of it, whether you've gone top or bottom. And we're going to pick all of those boys' brains on the show. KB won't take long, not too much of a brain there, but we're gonna, he does know footy backwards.
He's
the man,
got a
I'll
great
give him that.
footy brain.
He's got an amazing footy brain. That's where it ends. And we're going to be wearing our Belgravia apparel, Northern Footy Show t-shirts, which have had plenty of compliments. And I'll probably drive there in a Bayford Ford. That's who I am. New Balance, fantastic. I'm looking at Pete's New Balance bag. This is amazing.
Thanks, Watto.
Wayne from Waytech Rendering also had a birthday the other day. And if you're not getting your car serviced at Diamond Valley Auto Care, you're dreaming. Site Supply Electrical, if you're not getting your gear from there, you're bugging. Now, then we have the live games this weekend as well.
Yep. What have we got?
I'm doing Greensboro versus Hurstbridge, going to be a killer diller, that one. And then we're packing up, I think me and JK at Borough.
Yep.
Me and JK are doing that from War Memorial Reserve. Then we'll quickly pack up, bail over to Diamond Creek and do the Diamond Creek Bundoora Under Lights Clash. Is going to be something special, and I'm calling that one with KB. So it's going to be a sensational week of footy here. I can't remember being as excited about a season 2 rounds in, because I reckon I'm sitting on about 4 tips so far for the year.
Yeah, and we saw the first week and we thought, oh, well, there's some shocks there, and then it flipped back the other way.
Yeah.
And it's through all the divisions as well.
Crazy.
So, which is fantastic, because that's the sort of competition you want, where you've got games every week where you legitimately are not quite sure who's going to win it.
Couldn't pick a winner so far for next week. It'd be pie in the sky except Ivan. Who do you play?
We've got Reza.
It's not at Reza?
No, it's at Ivanhoe.
Okay,
We've got a twilight game for Anzac Day. So that's going to be another twilight game at home for us. Thanks to Nick and all the guys out there who agreed to do that.
I think I'm commentating that game.
You're commentating it?
I think.
Twilight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll come back to that. No, this Saturday.
It's this Saturday.
Oh, no, I'm not doing this Saturday.
Oh, no, you just told me
King's
2 other
birthday?
games.
I'm doing something maybe.
Oh, King's birthday you might.
Yeah. Okay, all good.
But yeah, we've got that one. So really looking forward to that game and taking on Reza this week at Ho Park. So yeah, it'll
be great. And then on Wednesday night, we're also going to talk about Premier Data's come on board with us, so we've got access to some stats and some numbers, so we can start really diving deep into Premier Data stuff online and really breaking down. It gives us a lot more statistics, a lot more possessions, and where sides are doing better or worse. We're not going to publish them, obviously, but we're going to talk about them on the show. And thanks for Premier Data for supporting the Northern Footy Show on that. Pete, last thing, next Monday we'll be in a new studio.
Yeah.
And the plan will be we're going to do this, but you're going to be able to see us on video if you tune into Facebook. So you can't wear that pink tutu again next week. I do like it, though. It's showing a bit of leg.
That's
but
right.
We'll have a webcam on us next week as well, so you can listen to us on the podcast, and you can re-watch the video, or you can watch it live on Facebook when we shoot this next Monday. So we'll get a bit more feedback and commentary on that one.
We'll definitely get feedback if people are looking at us.
We're trying to engage. I might come in boxer shorts and a business shirt or something.
Really?
I'm not sure what that looks like, but we'll work it out. Well, Pete, that is a wrap. It's been an awesome show. I love having you in. One of our shows gone the absolute crapper. We've probably gone for an hour and a half with the stop, but it doesn't matter because there was so much to speak about this week in footy. And from me and Pete, what's your final word this week, Pete?
Just good luck, everyone, and enjoy local footy.
Game time, anytime. Turn it up and let it play. Local Sports Network all day. Your home team, your call day. From first whistle to replay. Local Sports Network. We live the game your